Hello, this is Gene Bobo with a weekly report on AQC-TV, Atlanta, Texas, Queen City, and the World Wide Web. Thank you for letting me be a part of your day, and I'm hoping I'll give you some information today in our program which may help you along your way with maybe projects or maintenance, house, your lawn, your garden, your pastures. Basically, we talk about horticulture on this program, so we'll talk about some things that I think that you may be interested in. Hopefully you are in the next few minutes. Well, first of all, as we always begin our program, Texas Agri-Life Extension is information to you. You can call us at our office at 903-756-5391, or you can come out and visit us. We're located in the Cass County office building. That's on the Courthouse Square in downtown Linden, Texas. Office hours are from 8 to 12 and then 1 to 5 Monday through Friday. Now, yesterday when we were taping this program on a Tuesday, or we're taping this program on a Wednesday. Well, yesterday we were out of the office. My secretary, Nita Jones, and I was at the Livestock Show here over in Atlanta at the Expo building, and my cohort, Pam Lincoln, was in a meeting in Dallas. One of the very rare situations that we're all out on the same day. Excuse me, but they don't happen just maybe every once in a year or so. So give us a call, come by and see us. Like I said, we're located in the Cass County office building. That's right across the street from the bank and the post office and the courthouse, right next door to where you pay your taxes, buy your automobile tax, and etc. Well, first of all, before I forget about it, I want you to do something right now. You know, sometimes people will not vote because there's not any hot issues, quote unquote, up there. Well, there are some issues up there, especially some of our propositions, and you need to study of those. We hear a lot of advertisement on television about Prop 2, which is that's about water rights. And I tell you what, water is going to be the gold of the future in Texas. I was looking at a report today. They're still talking about our drought extending over into April and May of maybe next year or longer than that. So water is going to be an issue. A lot of water districts are starting to take drastic measures to curtail the water of people. And if the Proposition 2 passes, I think we're going to find out that Marvin Nichols becomes a reality. It probably will be in 20 or 30 years, maybe sooner. But what's going to happen in our area of East Texas, and I'm not on my soapbox today, I'm just trying to give you some facts, is that if Marvin Nichols Reservoir goes in to help people in Dallas, Fort Worth Metroplex, and I'm not for them not having water, but they can build their own systems, get water from the Red, get water from Toledo Bend, other reservoirs. But what they want to do is come to East Texas and build reservoirs. And when that happens, most people don't realize they have to set aside more that acreage and more in another part of East Texas. It's a mitigation thing, and that takes up a lot of land, and then that land is taken out of productivity. That land is taken off the tax rolls. So you see there's water. So one of the things we did a report not too long ago, well, a couple of 2 or 3 years ago, with Texas A&M Extension about the water use in the Metroplex. It was unreal. The average water use, and I'm hoping they've gotten more conservative in the last year or two, but the water use in the Metroplex was like 260 gallons per day per person. Now think about how many people live in the Metroplex of Dallas-Fort Worth. Probably 3 or 4 million people, and that's just devastating. And if we're compared to a city like Tyler, Texas, it was like 136. So go out and vote. That's where we go back. Go back and study your propositions. We don't have anything major running right now, but we still have some information or some things that will affect us as Texans. So do your homework, study those, and that's just my personal view on Prop 2. But I think that's one of the things that we just need to be aware of instead of not just going to the vote, because that's what happens a lot of days with apathy at the voter place. Well, my vote's not going to count. Well, it will count, I guarantee you. So go out and do your voting. I know over in Queen City they've got a school board referendum on the ballot. So we need to do that. Okay, let me see where I'm at. I started to get off on a little soapbox there, but I just think it's very important that we vote. You know, we just take that for granted. And many places around the world, they have no control over what's going on in their lives. Okay, the mission statement for Texas Agri-Life is to improve the lives of businesses, peoples, and communities across the state of Texas and beyond by providing high-quality, relevant education. That's where I wanted to be a while ago before I kind of got on this voting thing. And that's not say that's not important, because it is important. A lot of times people put in people in office and they're very disappointed. But this is a situation that has to do with propositions in our state government, and it will affect most all of us in a way. Well, I was just saying yesterday, a few minutes ago, I think about yesterday is what I'm thinking about. The County Livestock Show was held right here in Atlanta, Texas, over at the Ag Expo building, and we had like 154 animals that were shown at the show. And I'm going to give you a rundown of these. Some of these are Queen City and Atlanta kids. Some of them are Linden Kildare, and maybe Hughes Springs and Avenger and Bloomberg and McLeod. So it's kind of in our area, and I don't have to do that because I'm involved with that program. And we usually don't do that on our program here on the television, but this is one of those 2 or 3 things that we do a year that we kind of get out of bounds, get out of our box as far as we're talking about horticulture issues. Now, we had 4 different species. We had goats and broilers and rabbits and also pigs, and they were, like I said, 154 animals in that show. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to give you the results. In the rabbit division, our grand champion was Dylan Littlejohn from Linden Kildare, and Rachel Akers from Atlanta was a reserve grand champion in the rabbit division. Cullen Rich placed 3rd from Atlanta. Queen City's Caitlin Shamley placed 4th. Hughes Springs' Kevin Tobler placed 5th. 6th place was Rustin Crocker from Hughes Springs. 7th place was Garrett Nutt from McLeod. 8th place, Joda Austin from Avenger. 9th place was Ryan Perry from Avenger. 10th place was Chase Crumpler from Queen City. 11th place, Robert Terry from Hughes Springs. Ronnie Wirtz was from Hughes Springs, was 13th. 14th in the rabbit division was Jane Baggett from Avenger. Lee Rayleigh here from Atlanta was placed 15th. And Zane Hanks from Hughes Springs placed 16th. Megan Moses from the Hope 4-H Club, which is they meet here in Atlanta. Dakota Johnston from Linden Kildare was 18th. 19th place, Abby McKinney from Hughes Springs, and 20th place was Andy Vaughn from McLeod. And our broilers or the chickens. Here's the results. From grand champion was Tyler Hudstall from Linden Kildare. Reserved grand champion was Haley Davison from Hughes Springs. 3rd place, Kayla Cox from Linden Kildare. 4th place was Paige Hyatt from Avenger. 5th place, Blake Walker from Hughes Springs. 6th place, Ashley Summers from Hughes Springs. 7th place was Michelle Garrett from Avenger. 8th place, Summer Duncan from Linden Kildare. And 9th place, Timber Burnett from Linden Kildare. 10th place, John O'Reilly from Linden Kildare. 11th place, Ryan Cates from Hughes Springs. 12th place, broiler was Easton Robbie from Queen City. 14th was Taylor Calhoun from also Queen City. 15th was Peyton Bickham from Queen City. 16th broiler was Blake Smith from Hughes Springs. And 17th was Drake Hill, also from Hughes Springs FFA chapter. Now these were for FFA students and 4-H students that participated. Now we come down to the goats. First place was Odell Comer from McLeod. Bryson Baggett had the reserved grand champion goat from Linden Kildare. Emily Owens from Queen City finished 3rd. Hunter Bailey from Queen City finished 4th. Justin Hall from Hughes Springs was 5th. Tanner Smith from Hughes Springs was 6th. Patrick Littlejohn from Linden was 7th. Linden Kildare. And 8th place was Billy Cody from Avenger. 9th place, Ivy Harris from Hope 4-H Club. 10th place was Sean Owens from Atlanta. Sean Owens from Queen City. Jacob Duncan Avenger was 11th place. Danelle Smith from Queen City was 12th. James Boney was 13th place from Linden Kildare. Haley Eves from Queen City finished 14th. 15th place was Stephen Walker from Hughes Springs. 15th was Parker Haley from Queen City. 17th, Goat Joshua Watley from the Hope 4-H Club. 18th place was Morgan Pollard from Hughes Springs. 19th was Sibby Comer from McLeod, and also Jamie McDonald finished 20th in the Linden Kildare for the Linden Kildare FFA chapters. And what we're talking about is these are the ones that qualified for the selling of their animals last night in the sale. Now that means we had some that didn't make it, but we have some situations where we're trying to help those kids along that didn't make the sale. Now the hogs, there was a lot of pork out there last night roaming around in the arena. Grand champion was Cody Fuller from Linden Kildare FFA chapter. Reserve champion was Sean Pope from Hughes Springs. Third place, J.C. Pope from Hughes Springs. Fourth place, Michaela Mayshaw from Hughes Springs. And fifth place was Kennedy Northam from Hughes Springs. They took the first, well, for the first 5 places. Sixth place, Jessica Keener from McLeod. Seventh place, Hunter Brabham from Hughes Springs. Eighth place, Lucas Pope from Hughes Springs. Ninth place was Courtney Gregg from Hughes Springs. Cage Bidwell from 10th place from Hughes Springs. Cheyenne Goin from Queen City was 11th. Austin Fuller from Linden Kildare was 12th. 13th place was Kayla Huggins from Hughes Springs. And then I think I missed Tracer Henry from Linden Kildare was 13th. 15th was Corey Cunningham from Linden Kildare. Jacob Tyler finished 16th from Hughes Springs for FFA. 17th was Zachary Prince from McLeod. 18th, Andrew Hart from Linden Kildare. 19th, Christopher Perdon from Hughes Springs. And number 20th was Austin Ayers from Linden Kildare. Now those were the kids that sold their animals last night that made the sale. Now we also had 2 other things that was going on that day. We always have a showmanship, a junior and a senior event in both the hog and the goats. The senior goat showmanship went to James Boney from Hughes Springs, and the junior goat showmanship was Justin Hall from Linden Kildare. Now in the senior hog division, Jessica Keener down in McLeod won the senior division, with the junior hog showmanship was known to Kennedy Northam from Hughes Springs. And that was a great show out there. Yesterday our youth did ourselves well. We had great support from the community, from our businessmen, from parents and friends, from the schools. It's just great to be a part of that situation. And those young people, it's always good to have these projects that, you know, they give them things to do, and it basically says keeps them out of trouble in a way, because it's a known fact, but for statistics has shown that young people who are involved in a 4-H project or a FFA project is less likely to get in trouble with the law. And I'm not saying that just because I'm the 4-H coordinator from Cass County, also with my ag agent's job, but that's statistically been proven by the people who are in the know-how and the know-of about crime statistics. Well, I talked to you about the first part of the program, what we wanted to do, okay? Here we're coming up, and late fall, and there's some things that I want to share with you today that may be affecting you. Now, one of the things that we're talking about, I get some calls from our office about their lawn care. Excuse me, never fails to happen. You want to try to sneeze when you're doing a program. That's just Murphy's Law, I guess, when we're on doing live things, okay? But anyway, we had some calls in our office regarding some weeds, identifying just certain types of weeds, and what can I do about these weeds. Now, as we know, this past year has been horrendous as far as drought and really just stressing our lawns out. You know, I've lost some of my centipede lawns, and I've watered it, and I did this and that, and kind of, but it just, some problems happen with it due to a lot of times was environmental conditions. So I'm going to talk to you about 3 or 4 different weeds that we need to start looking at if you have them in your yard, and you probably do. One of them is spotted splurge. That's a